Good morning students. Today I will teach class 9th chapter 6, that is tissue. So here the chapter is divided into two parts, that is plant tissue and animal tissue. So here in today's lecture I will discuss about the plant tissue. So firstly, what is tissue? A group of cells that are similar in structure or work together to achieve a particular function form a tissue. So we can simply say that a group of cells is called tissue. So the tissues are very important because they provide support and strength to the body. So the tissue may be dead, so they provide mechanical strength as easily as live ones and need less maintenance. So in plant tissues, the tissues are categorized in two categories. So plant tissues are of two types. Number one, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So first we will discuss about meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissues are the simple living tissue having thin walled, compactly arranged immature cells which are capable of division and formation of new cells. So meristematic tissue, number one point, they are simple living tissue, they have thin wall, so the arrangement is immature cells, so they are capable of division and formation of new cells. So here the features of meristematic tissue. Number one, they have thin primary cell wall, that is cellulose or cellulosic. They have, so they are compact tissue, which means they have no space between them. So they are intercellular spaces is absent. So here in plant tissues, vacuoles, what we have studied in cell, so vacuoles are absent, but the cytoplasm and nuclei are prominent. So large number of cell organelles are also present in plant tissue. So they are active metabolic state, stored food is absent. So here is no place for storage of food, but you do active metabolic activities. Actively they divide the cells are present in growing region of plants, example root and shoot tips. So they will function on the root and shoot tips. So here these are the features of meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue is further on the basis of their origin, they are classified as number one, primary. It is also called promeristem. So derived directly from meristem of embryo. So it is the primary. So they are obtained from embryo. So they consist of cell derived from primary meristem. They add to primary growth of plant. So mainly the promeristem is starting from, as the name indicate, pro or primary, मतलब initial state. So it is starts from meristem of embryo. So it helps in cell division. So it helps in growth of plants. Next is secondary meristematic tissue. It is formed by permanent tissues. They are having cell derived from primary permanent tissue. So what we derived in primary meristematic tissue, they are available in secondary meristematic tissue. They usually add to the diameter of the plant. So that are helpful for the growth of the plant. They add the diameter of the plant. Here it is a structure of meristematic tissue. It is seen. So location of meristematic tissue in plant body. So here the upper part is apical meristem, the center is intercalary meristem, and the last is lateral meristem. So it is the meristematic tissue in the plant body. So first we classify the meristematic tissue from their origin, so how from which they are obtained. So number 2 is classification of meristematic tissue on the basis of location. So number 1, apical meristem. So it is apical, as you see here, it is at the top. So apical meristem, it is present at the growing tips of stem and roots. So cell division in this tissue lead to the elongation of stem and root. Thus it is involved in primary growth of the plant. So it helps in the growth of stem and root. So it is present at the tip of the root and the shoot or stem, root and the stem. Next is intercalary meristem. Here you are seeing intercalary meristem. So intercalary meristem is present behind the apex. It is the part of apical meristem which is left behind during growth period. So they are present at the base of the leaf and internode region. So they lead to increase in length of leaf in grass stem, in bamboo stem, in mint stem. So the tissue present in the grass stem or the mint stem is the intercalary meristem. So mainly it is for the increase in the length of leaf. Next is lateral meristem. As you see the diagram, it is located at the last. So lateral meristem is also a secondary meristem. It occurs along the side of longitudinal axis of plant. So longitudinal axis is, as you see, vertical position. It gives rise to vascular tissue. It gives growth in birth of, here the girth of is not, it is birth of stem and root. So they are responsible for secondary growth. So once the plant is formed, that is primary growth, and after the formation of plant the growth is called secondary growth. So next is permanent tissue. So permanent tissue are composed of those cells which have lost their capability to divide. So they become permanent. They are not change their shape, size. So they have definite shape, size and thickness. So permanent tissue may be dead or living. The division and differentiation of the cells of meristematic tissue give rise to the permanent tissue. In cell differentiation, developing tissues and organs change from simple to more complex and form a specialized for specific function. So, the cell of permanent tissue lose the capacity to divide and attain permanent size and shape and size and function. So, permanent tissues are the tissues which have definite shape and thickness. So, permanent tissue may be dead or living. So, permanent tissue are composed of that cells that are not divide again. So, they change their position from simple to complex tissue by specialized function. So, permanent tissues are again divided into two types, that is according to the structure and composition, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So, here developing tissue organ change from simple to complex. So, in simple permanent tissue, they are made up of same type of cells which are similarly structural and functionally similar. So, here the simple permanent tissue are of two types, protective tissues and supporting tissues. So, here we are discussing about protective tissues. These tissues are primarily protective in function, as name indicates these are used for protection. So, here they consist of epidermis, core or phylum. So, protective tissues you see here, here it is ruptured epidermis, here it is cork cell. So, it provides the protection to the organ. Here you see epidermis, there is a guard cells. So, epidermal cells, there is stomata and guard cells. So, guard cells are the closing and opening of stomata, you know very well, for the photosynthesis purpose or the in the plants. So, here the guard cells and epidermal cells. So, epidermal cells form thick outermost layers of various organs like leaf, flower, stem, so that they provide protection to them. So, epidermis is covered by outside by cuticle. So, it is waterproof waxy substance. So, so it is secreted by epidermal cells. Cuticle is very thick in xerophytes. Cells of epidermis of leaves are not continuous, and some places due to the presence of small pores called stomata. So as you know, stomata is guarded by guard cells, so only the epidermal cells which possess chloroplast rest being colorless. So here you can see the diagram showing the epidermis is the outer layer, so it provides protection. Here are the functions of epidermis. Main function of epidermis is to protect plant from desiccation and infection, so it provides protection. So cuticle of epidermis cuts the rate of transpiration and evaporation of water. So it also helps, so we know stomata helps in photosynthesis or rest transpiration, so epidermis is helpful in the guard cells of the stomata. Next is cork. So we know in older roots and stem, tissues at the periphery become cork cell or phloem cell. So cork is made up of dead cells, so do not have intercellular spaces. So cell wall in corks have waxy substance. So cells of cork become impermeable to water, so they do not allow the water molecules to come inside. So next is function of cork. Protective in function, so prevent desiccation, infection, mechanical injury, lightness, toughness, compressibility, elasticity, make it valuable. So cork is used for insulation, used for variety of sport goods such as cricket ball. You already see the cork. So cork is the just a lid of the round bottle, small size, you can put on that. Sporting tissues, so these are the sportive in function, so they are helpful in sporting tissues, help in provide sport to plants. So they are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So they are very important, so their differences you have to know about the difference between parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma.
So here is a diagram of parenchyma. So you can easily see the diagram of parenchyma here. Here there is cytoplasm. A blue color part is called nucleus. Here it is a middle lamella, and the green dots called chloroplast, and the large hollow space is vacuole, and there is intercellular space or the primary cell wall of parenchyma. So here are the some points. It is a fundamental tissue. So tissue first time evolved in bryophytes. So parenchyma is seen in bryophytes. So it has thin walled cells, oval or spherical in structure, and cell wall are composed of cellulose and pectin. Large central vacuole is used for food and water storage, and primary function is food storage. So here is the intercellular spaces of parenchyma. It is transverse section. The above is the longitudinal section. So here it is a space that can be seen. So some parenchyma involved in excretory substance storage are so called idoplast, storing resin, tannin, gums and oils. So here chlorophyll is absent for typical parenchyma. So parenchyma tissue are chlorenchyma which perform photosynthesis such as mesophils of leaves. In hydrophytic plants provide buoyancy. So here the types of parenchyma containing air spaces. That's why they are called arenchyma. So parenchyma provides turgidity to the cells. So turgidity is shrinkage. Next is collenchyma. Here is diagram of collenchyma. There is transverse section of collenchyma. Cell wall, vacuoles, nucleus and wall thickening. So it is mechanical tissue, elongating cells with thick corners, localized cellulose pectin thickening. So here you can see the diagram of longitudinal section. So you have to know about this diagram and you can draw this diagram in your notebook. So it provides flexibility to plant's part and easy bending. Present only in herbaceous dicot stem. Present at thin margin of leaf. chloroplast may be present and give mechanical strength and elasticity. Here is a sclerenchyma. Simple pit pair. It is a transverse section composed of extremely thick wall cells with little or no protoplasm. Cells are dead and possess very thick lignified walls. It is waterproof material. There is intercellular spaces are absent. So it contains two types of sclerenchyma cells, that is seculates and fibers. So here narrow lumen lignified thick wall. It is longitudinal section. What is cyclides? So you can simply study about the cyclides and fibers. So here is the difference between parenchyma and collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So here is the difference between you can do. So next tissue is the complex permanent tissue. So it consists of more than one type of a cell which work together. So firstly we studied simple permanent tissue. It is complex, which means it contains two or more cells. So it helps in mainly transportation of materials. It is also known as conducting or vascular tissue. So xylem and phloem are the two vascular bundles. So here is a diagram of xylem and phloem. So the diagram is clearly in your textbook. You can see from there also. So first is xylem. It is also known as wood, vascular and mechanical tissue. It has thick walled cells in the tubular passage. It contains four types of cell elements, that is trachyard, vessel, xylem, parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma. So here is a diagram of trachyard, vessels, xylem, parenchyma. So trachyards, elongated angular dead cells, involve the conduction of water and minerals. Vessels, they are advanced elements. Here you can see. So they are cylindrical tube-like structure, one above the other end. And xylem parenchyma, they are small thick wall parenchyma cell, so mainly storage of starch. Sclerenchyma, they are non-living fibers, mechanical support. Except xylem parenchyma, all of other xylem elements are dead. So the annual rings are present in the trunk. By counting the annual rings, we can determine the age of a tree. So by counting in the xylem sclerenchyma, we can counting the rings and knowing about the age. Next is phloem. There is a sieve tube, sieve plate, phloem parenchyma and companion cells. There also consist of both parenchymatic and sclerenchymatic cells. Phloem consists of four elements: sieve tube, companion, phloem fibers and phloem parenchyma. So sieve tube. Sieve tubes are slender tube-like structure, elongated, thin wall, placed end to end. The end walls of sieve tubes are perforated by numerous pores, so they are called sieve plates. So mainly they are degenerated maturity. So slime protein or protein which is concerned with the growth and repair of sieve cells. Companion cells have dense cytoplasm and prominent nuclei. Sieve cells and companion cells are so-called sister cells because they originate from single mother cells. Phloem fibers, they give mechanical support. Phloem parenchyma, they store and help in radial conduction of food. Leptome, the main part involved in the conduction of food, which is sieve tube. So in xylem, only unidirectional movement is possible, but phloem is bidirectional movement also occur. In phloem, except phloem parenchyma, all elements are living. So here is a difference between xylem and phloem is given, so you can easily understood about them. So here we are completed with the plant tissues. So in this video I had covered all the topics which are not in book or extra topics, so you can skip that topic also. So here we can complete it with plant tissue. In next lecture we will do the animal tissues. Thank you.